Hey guys, what's going on? We got another Mythic Plus video as Enhancement Shaman. We are doing a plus 10 Priory of the Sacred Flame, which is also listed as one of the hardest dungeons at the moment, I believe, and for good reason. And I don't think it's mainly for like the bosses or anything. I think it's mostly just this first section of the dungeon, where you have those random shots going out from the hunter type mobs and the disrupting shout from the riders. Although there are a few within the chapel that are a pain, like the paladins there. They do the sacred toll. That is definitely a nightmare. But I can definitely see why this is listed as the hardest dungeon. But I can safely say that I would rather run Priory of the Sacred Flame over Stone Vault or the other ones in season 1. I can say that for certain because holy do I ever not like those places. Like Stone Vault was brutal. I can't remember what the other one was. Thankful I forgot it because always a nightmare. But the only one that I really liked last season was Mist of Tyranid Scythe, and like most of these dungeons this season feel kind of in line with it, if not just slightly harder. Nothing too difficult, which is very nice. So I honestly I am happy with how the season has turned out so far. Much more fun. And a lot of my friends have come back too, so we've been doing a lot more keys than per usual. So, but we have had some issues when we were running some keys, like this weekend, Saturday on specific, while I was streaming, the servers were crashing out. I'm assuming it was DDoS attacks, but basically we scuffed two keys because of the server faults. And that really sucks because one of them was a Cinderbrew meadery, and we were coming up to the third boss, really good time on it, and we all lag out and die, and the server stayed kind of cruddy for, you know, 5 or 6 minutes, but that's more than enough time to scuff a key entirely, and it really sucked. Although we did end up finishing it out and still getting IO for it, but I think we were like 2 or 3 minutes overtime, which it was like, really? Like we were that close and it just messes us over. It's just, it really sucks. But, and then we tried to do a Floodgate 10 about a couple hours afterwards. And same thing happened. We come up to the second boss, everything was going fine, and then everything lags out and we end up wiping, and then the server stayed like that for like 10 minutes. We were hopefully gonna wait it out and complete the key, but turned out no. And I mean, we cannot fault Blizzard for this entirely. Like, let's be honest, nobody really expects DDoS attacks or anything like that, so you can't really fully blame Blizzard, and it does suck. And I did hear a whole bunch of players on the hardcore servers did lose their characters, which is a huge shame. And that's definitely a much more brutal loss than scuffing a key. And like it unbelievable that it happened, and it really sucks that it did too. But Blizzard's not expecting people to DDoS or anything, and I mean they did kind of make a somewhat quick recovery, but at the same time, World First is going on, and there's a whole bunch of other things going on, so it really does suck. It really does suck. But yeah, it's been fun so far through this season, except for those, faults through the servers crashing out. But other than that, yeah, it's been fun. And as for enhancement specifically, we're doing amazing. Like, enhancement feels really good. I do have a different single target build that I'm going to post up if you watched my guide already. I realized that there is a better one out there, and I am going to put the code up into the build and mark it as updated single target. So if you are interested in that, feel free if you didn't already know about it. But yeah, it's honestly, enhancement feels more like enhancement has ever felt for a while now. Like the entirety of Dragonflight, I felt like it wasn't really complete almost. It didn't feel quite enhancement like. I don't know. Mainly because to me, Ice Strike and Hailstorm, they are cool ideas, but they they make the build over bloated and excessive. But the current design behind Enhancement Totemic, with Lavalash being your priority, mixed in with Sunders, which automatically happen, which is really nice. And then you have the totem, which is cool, but there's no excessive priority list. There's no excessive button bloating or anything. We still have a buttload of utility that we can use, right? So we have our poison cleanse and stuff like that, but I don't really consider those over bloating or anything, the spec. It's more like it's just added buttons. And I think the current design behind enhancement, having the totemic build, which is, a bit more complicated but still quite straightforward. And then you have the very simple Stormbringer build, which is very nice, especially if you're, exhausted or tired or just learning the spec even just to figure out how things work. I think it's great and it's very, very competitive. Although the Lavalash build does take much more dramatic or has much more damage in AoE, sorry, for lack of better words, I guess. In single target, they are much closer. So in AoE standings, Totemic is a bit farther ahead, maybe much more farther ahead. And then in single target, they are much closer, relying a bit on RNG and the boss cleave and stuff like that. So for enhancement, we've still got two specs, which is really nice. I think that is the one thing. We have two completely different playstyles, which is really nice. And then after looking into it more, the playstyle for pure singles target is actually quite interesting, focusing both on Lavalash and Stormstrike while incorporating Doom Winds and Primordial Storm. And it still keeps the rotation very, very simple, and I really like that. I personally don't like Elemental Blast, but the fact that we don't have to snapshot it Feral Spirits or anything like that, or prioritize Hailstorm and Ice Strike when certain things happen, or anything like that, is really nice. It just simplifies it. It's basically Lavalash when Hot Hands is up, Storm Strike if Hot Hands is not active, Elemental Blast if it has charges with 10 stacks, and then Lightning Bolt if you don't have Elemental Blast. And it doesn't matter at what time you use them, as long as you are keeping your Frost Witch buff up, which is honestly so much better than ever before. Like Dragonflight, it was an absolute nightmare, frustrating. Even last season, it was a bit of an annoyance with the whole Elementalist style. I really dislike Elementalist, and I think a lot of people do. There is a certain challenge to it, which is kind of nice, but at the same time, nobody's looking for this crazy priority list or anything like that. So I think right now, Blizzard has hit the nail on the head for enhancement, and it's looking great. Um, I still have a video to do, which I'm hoping to get done this week, which is a full dive into the enhancement tree, explaining how the talents work in unison with each other and stuff like that, and how the abilities truly work for those that are interested in learning more about enhancement or wanting to start it and actually learn what the abilities do rather than just press them and see what happens. But yeah, so I'm excited to do that, and hopefully that'll be done sometime this week. And PvP has felt a little bit crazy at the moment, very high burst, but yeah, we'll save that for the PvP video. But it has been somewhat fun, at least. But I still feel like there is this gap with World of Warcraft that they need to address, which is the newcomer gap. They don't really have a proper guide, and I know a lot of people are saying that it's an MMORPG, you're not supposed to have this straight shot, but I feel like they should have something to guide them towards what kind of content. Like, let's say you just hit level 80, or yeah, we're level 80. You just hit level 80 and you get a quest, and it asks, what kind of content are you interested in? And you get 3 check marks, or maybe 4 even. You are interested in doing Mythic Plus, raiding, PvP, or world content. And you can check mark and you can go over them whichever way you want. You can select all of them, or you could do that. And then if you select raiding, it's like, okay, well, let's start with some gearing, or maybe listed as PvE, doing raiding and Mythic Plus, probably similar things and probably need each other to be in to do the same thing, I guess. I don't know. But like you mark it as like, okay, let's raise your item level by doing heroic dungeons or world quests out in the open world to get your item level to the heroic dungeon level. And then you start progressing to the mythic dungeon level, and then you start working towards mythic keystones or doing LFR or trying to get into a normal group, something like that. And maybe even bring in like a guide to how to play the starter build that they provide with you or something like that. So it's something they could bring in, but at the same time, I can kind of understand why they don't bring in like guides and stuff, because they do want, a bit of the community to work with itself, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. But, something of that sort would be good, I guess. But, that's just me thinking, and it's something that needs to be introduced maybe, or just to help newer players get into the game, because I feel like the game is 20 years old and it definitely needs, some sort of improvement to get the player base back and increase the player base with these new people that are trying to maybe get into it, or maybe have never played an MMO before or something like that, or it's too much to get into, so that's why they go to other games. I don't know, but like, that's something to hopefully Blizzard is working on for next expansion or the expansion after, because I think everybody that plays World of Warcraft loves this game and wants it to succeed. So that is definitely one way for it to improve. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. Maybe you guys have better ideas or something they can improve on. I don't know. But it's all coming in time, hopefully. But as for right now, enhancement specifically, I think they've done a wonderful job with it. It's definitely felt a whole lot of fun. And as for Mythic Plus, honestly, aside from a couple things that may need a bit of tuning, but other than that, nothing feels as oppressive as last season's dungeons. Not even close. So I think they've done a wonderful job with everything so far, and the raid is an absolute blast. I find it hilarious, and some of the trinkets are absolutely funny, especially the Goon Squad trinket from the second last boss. I want it so bad, and I don't even care if it's not good or if it's really good. I just want it because it's hilarious. But yeah, that is going to be it for my commentary. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video so far, and I hope you continue to enjoy the rest of this key, as the final room kind of does come with if I remember correctly, we had a pretty heavy wipe, or maybe it's just after these stairs, something funny happened. So it was kind of funny, but a bit unfortunate, but we still timed it. But anyways, guys, that is it. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Laters!
Prey has warped the priory from a place of contemplation to an uprising. Why? She has always preached of the strength of the Emperor's will, but to turn against us is madness.
blinding light reveals the strength we Iraqi lack in our conquer Kalagar and subjugate the world!
Such heresy. Why the sacred flame by animating the dead? No better than call this.
Yeah. Feed. All of you. Feed on the void. Let its darkness fill you. All of you, feed on the void. Let its darkness fill you.
Directly leaves the Emperor's service, even in death.
Mortals, scramble after any shred of control.
Sacred flame will cleanse your transgressions! Flames take!
It is done. These zealots no longer steer our faith towards destruction.